Welcome to an incomplete guide to personal growth. We invite you to take a breath and take a listen to our podcast that explores the wonder, humor, challenges, and sometimes those self-inflicted wounds on a journey of personal growth.
Our weekly podcast conversations include stories, resources, and tools that you can incorporate into your daily life. We're the mother-daughter duo of Sydney
And Kelly.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Sydney.
How are you?
I'm good. I almost wasn't ready.
I know. Okay, that's good. Oh my gosh, this morning.
That was wild.
So, you don't live in the country, but
Well,
we live in a
we
place
live
with
in
some wildlife.
Yes, we have skunks, possums,
Yeah.
armadillos,
possum.
fox we saw the other day,
Yeah.
all in the backyard.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I saw a possum on my drive out this morning.
So there you go.
But while we were eating breakfast, we saw a skunk.
A skunk wandering on our back porch. I look up and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Charles.
Here's an experience for you. And when we moved here years and years ago, we had possum and skunks
Armadillos,
and
right?
armadillos living under our porch. And so we had it done where the wiring was put in. And
Yeah, and like kind of a little underground.
yes, but I'm quite a bit. So but I'm still very paranoid. But the skunk was looking every nook and cranny that he could find to get. Oh, and raccoons we have under. And so it was like, okay, I was getting a little worried. So I thought with the skunk, you're afraid to do anything, right?
Yeah.
You get sprayed.
Don't get
and so I knocked on the window, didn't do a thing. So you said, well, go outside and throw something at it. Me, right?
Yes,
so I
you.
went out and we had this bunch of extra golf balls. So I tossed them. Of course, I missed, and it didn't matter. Didn't care.
Didn't care.
But I said something to Sydney, and my voice scared him. So he ran off.
And luckily it didn't spray.
Yeah, luckily it didn't spray, man. But you can, boy, when they do, I've never been sprayed.
I have not.
But our cars have. And it takes
our cars
a while
have.
to get rid of.
Yes.
So.
Oh my gosh. And like, I just couldn't get over the tail.
Yeah, it was a big one. A lot of times there's little ones that we felt like, especially during the day, they haven't gotten, to where
but
they're
that was a
nocturnal
big...
yet. Get out of here. But it was a big one. It was a big one. I know I've smelled when I've been running this last week. There's a couple times.
I don't know if it's that time of year that they're starting to come out.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I don't know. But I just,
crazy.
Ooh, boy, don't want them under our
I know. Oh my gosh. yeah, that was crazy.
Skunks.
Okay, so we're beginning. It's March.
It is March.
Getting close to springtime.
Yeah.
We are starting. We kind of gave a little preview last suffering.
Suffering.
But we
bad.
talked about it. Yeah, it's not all bad. We talked about it. We wanted to kind of give almost like a little preview. I don't know, not a preview, but just like something before we really get into suffering.
Right.
And that is what Christians call the fruits of the Spirit. Yes. And reassurance that this is not a Christian episode.
Yes.
These are literally just things that are good things to try and amplify, exemplify in your life and live out, and they can help with suffering.
Yeah.
So we wanted to kind of give these,
if you are a Christian,
tools.
then
Go for it.
Go for it. I mean, this is out of our scripture.
Yes.
If you are of another faith or not, there are similar things in all faiths.
Yeah. So these are just
that
values.
come along. These are just things that we're familiar with, and I kind of wanted to make my singing debut.
Yes, please do it.
This is the only way I remember the fruits of the Spirit.
Okay.
For the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control. For such there is no law.
Oh my God.
I was laughing halfway
I know
through,
you were. That was so funny.
I learned that, I don't know, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And that's the way I remember
Can
it.
you speak them now?
For the fruits? Oh,
No.
okay. I was going to say, because I got a little raspy in there. But that's okay. I was laughing. And it's morning.
It is
And I was
morning.
up at 4 this morning taking
Oh,
Dad
yeah,
to
take
the
Dad to the
airport.
airport.
That was like a, whoa.
That's rough.
Okay, so the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control.
That's it.
And
Yes.
yeah.
I literally wrote, so for our notes that we're looking at, I literally wrote Feel
You
free
can
to sing.
For the fruits
For
of-
Mom.
I will close the episode with it so
Yes.
you can all remember it.
Yes. So for us, and the way that we're going to discuss these today, these tie into suffering, because to me, they're things that you can turn to and things and ways that you can act to, in a way, relieve suffering. Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Would
so.
you agree?
Yes, I do. And, I always, whenever I don't know, growing up or throughout my life almost, when I hear these, I hear the fruits of the Spirit, love, joy, peace. And I think these are something you're supposed to exude.
Yes.
That everybody's supposed to see. Oh, look how gentle.
Yeah.
And I was recently, when we talking about, I thought, oh man, I had it so backwards.
Really?
I think these are the things that you nurture within yourself, period. What comes from that is, it's like if you water and tend a fruit tree, a lemon tree, whatever it is, you're going to get the fruit. So you don't worry about the fruit.
Yeah.
You worry about the roots, the
tending to
water,
it.
the soil, the sun. You worry about all that makes up the fruit. And so it's not about the fruit.
Yeah. It's not about what people see and what you show out.
Right.
Yeah.
It's about, you don't start with the fruit. You start internally with nurturing myself. Do I love myself? We've talked about that.
Yes, we have. Mhm.
Do I love myself?
Yeah. Am I patient?
How do I nurture that love? Through some of these joy and peace and patience. But how do I nurture? By accepting that I am sacred.
Yeah.
That I am a child of God or a child of this universe, and I matter, flaws and all.
Yeah.
And I have something to offer this world. And so I love myself. I have something to offer myself.
Yeah.
That's
so good. And so I'm just saying, it's taken you these many decades.
Yes.
So we can all learn.
What's that?
Yes. Well, to like realize, the fruits of the Spirit aren't for other people, for me to do to other people. It's to do to me.
When I do it to me, I can't help but do it to other people.
Yeah, because that's the habit you have. Yeah.
Because that's what that feels like. Then I grow this compassion. I grow gentleness. I grow, and I can do that because it becomes me.
Yeah.
I become it.
Yeah. And then that's the only way you know to act.
Yeah. Well, ideally.
Well, I mean, you know how to act, but that's the way that you want to act.
But this is what, and so how does that relieve suffering?
Yeah.
Well, then I love myself first.
You're gentle.
When I screw up or when I just don't feel like I have anything to offer, let's go back and look at you, Kelly. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You do. And even if it's just you have something to offer yourself, a cup of coffee.
Yes.
Which you didn't get to drink this morning.
Finish this morning.
So that, I think of love, okay?
Yeah.
And then I think of joy.
And we've talked about joy.
Joy is different than happiness.
It is.
Joy is deep-seated, and to me, it's a mystery because I can find it in moments I shouldn't find it. In the horrendous moments.
Yeah.
There's this spark deep within that says, yes, and this is life.
Yeah.
This is a part of life.
Yeah.
And and you're not alone. Peace. Oh, that's one of my favorite. Just everybody leave. Thank you. I want peace in this house.
You're very good at finding peace.
But I think that's important. And that again is deep within.
Deep inner peace. Yeah.
And I can foster that. And we'll talk about some of that.
Yeah.
Patience. This is one of my favorite.
It's hard.
It is so hard. But a lesson that I learned early on with you, you were doing your math homework.
Oh.
Of course, Dad was gone. Therefore, I was sitting with you.
Oh no! And Dad was always the one that helped with our math homework.
He was really good. I loved him working with all your homework because he was so patient.
He was very patient.
And so I was sitting there. I was working with you, and I was trying to explain, and apparently it wasn't working. And my voice got raised, and you turned to me and said, "Mom, why are you getting mad?"
Kids,
And I was like, you were in third grade, I think.
Wow.
No, maybe fifth because we were in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I stopped and I thought, why am I? I'm so glad you asked that question because it had nothing to do with you. I was frustrated with myself because I couldn't explain it to you in a way that you could get it.
Yeah.
And so ever since then, I mean, I think about that.
Yeah.
When I get impatient with trying things, and I do get impatient a lot,
Yeah.
I have to stop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're just frustrated with yourself, aren't you? Oh, yeah. And then, again, that will help with other people.
Yeah, yeah. But you start with yourself.
I start with myself.
Yeah.
Of going, Kelly, just be patient. You know you don't like to read instructions, so therefore it's going to take you longer to figure stuff out.
At least you're honest.
So be patient with yourself.
Yeah.
Or read the instructions, but
But
I would take time too.
Take too much
But
time.
no, this patience. So it's like it's recognizing and awareness and going, that's what I want to work on. I mean, to work on all these at once would be just crazy.
Yeah, it'd be a lot.
Kindness. Well, some people, it's natural. You are a kind person.
Yeah.
It comes pretty natural, but I don't know how kind you are to yourself. That's your own question to answer. Goodness. That's just kind of like a...
Yeah. I don't know. I think I think it goes with, what you've said a
kind.
lot is we're just good.
We're just good.
And
We
knowing
are
that we are good.
And knowing that everybody has that within them.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, they do, Kelly. Gentleness.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite ones.
Really?
I love just that word, gentle. I know people who have just gentle souls, and I just am like, I
wanna be
want
like
to
that.
be that. They're gentle.
Yeah.
Gentle with yourself. Oh, you messed that. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. You don't know how to do that. That's okay too. I mean, all that is just gentle. You don't have to be harsh. It's the words you use.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
Faithfulness, being faithful to your higher power, to your God.
To anything, yeah.
But to yourself.
Self.
Are you true to yourself? Do you let yourself be walked on?
Do you give yourself what you need?
Yes. Exactly. Be faithful. Like the plant. Take care of it. Tend it. Tend to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Definitely.
self-control, I'm like, I don't know.
That's hard.
That is. And it's because I think about that and I think, well, I'm a big thing of moderation,
Yes.
I haven't done a marathon because, I don't want to be extreme. I'm teasing.
I love it.
But no, I admire people that can do that.
Yes.
But it's
And I think like that self-control too, it's
in knowing
not
your weakness.
Yeah. Sometimes I think that self-control, you could hear it and almost take it to the extreme of like, well, I have to be in control all the time. But that's not it. You can still feel your feelings, but it's how you express them to yourself, to others. That's where the self-control comes in. It's this aspect of like, I feel these things. What am I going to do with it?
Right.
And it's not
and knowing who you are. Okay, this is going to be
okay.
I don't think it'll get anybody in trouble.
Okay.
But it's knowing who you are. Okay.
Yeah.
I know my personality.
Yeah.
So years ago, somebody at our kitchen table was talking, not ours.
Okay.
This is my family of origin. And my mother, we always have these blunt conversations. We did. And my mother asked my brother, well, one of my brothers, we won't say,
Okay.
did you stop smoking pot?
Uh-huh.
And he said, yeah, I don't do that anymore. And she turned to me and she said, Kelly, have you ever tried it?
Oh.
And I said, no. And she said, why not? I said, because I'm afraid I'd like it too much.
Oh, that's good.
And my brother said, Kelly, you would love it. And so, and do you know, but talk about self-control. I mean, I know me.
Yes.
And I know that
is
would not have been a
good.
good thing for my personality.
Yeah.
So I have to, it's self-control. It's knowing who you are. Well, that is something that I can't do. That would not be good for me.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. That's a good example. Thank
that
you
a
for saying that.
decent
That's
example?
a good
Okay.
example.
Because
that
I
is
think
so
it's
good.
not controlling life. It's knowing yourself and going,
what's good for me and what's not.
And I measured it all because I knew when I would get grounded for something and I'd measure, well, is this going to be fun enough to get punished for? It would.
You recently told me about that, and I can't believe your little mind was like, well,
was in elementary school.
I know I'll get in trouble, but it's too fun, so I'm going to do it.
I'm out, yeah.
But you knew what you could handle.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So, it's not controlling your environment. That's not what that is. Yeah.
And so, I definitely think if you can focus on just like one at a time, even, cultivating them within yourself and just focusing. You don't even have to think about the outward, what's going to happen on the outside. It's just going to happen inside, and It's
And
like
it-
nurturing the tree. I
It
really
is.
like
It
that
just,
example.
It just does. And
Yes.
that's what I love the mystery of that.
Yes.
Is I don't have to control
Yeah.
that.
And growing up, I mean, that's kind of how I kind of saw them, and the way they were kind of explained to me was it's just like the outline of how to be a good person.
Yeah, right.
But in that aspect, it was like how you be a good person to others. But I think you think
Yeah.
it's how you can be to yourself and be good and kind and loving to
Yeah.
yourself. It's just, it doesn't
Because
have to be outward.
My thought is this, is when I do that inward to myself, then I begin to act that
Yeah.
way. If I don't, then I'm really being fake kind to people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm really being fake. Because there's been some things recently where I really didn't want to be kind. And I wanted to be honest
Yeah.
about, well, it was honest. But
It was honest, but
I wanted
you wanted to do it in a harsher way.
in a harsher way. And I thought that's not your core value.
Yeah.
That's not who you treat yourself as.
Yeah.
You believe in the goodness of yourself, even when you've done stupid things.
Yeah.
You believe in the gentleness of yourself.
Yeah.
So how do you be honest and be gentle?
I love that.
Because you can.
Yeah. And you can
It's
still
okay.
speak truth and have those
Speaking
values.
truth is not being
jerk.
disrespectful or ugly.
Yeah.
Not if it's coming from these
Core
core
values.
values and the fruits that you've nurtured within yourself.
I love that. So these do appear, I think, other places, right?
Well, Buddhism has the Four Noble Truths
Okay.
and Eightfold Path that emphasize right view, right understanding, right intention, speech, action.
Yeah.
And so there, that you go toward.
Gotcha.
And Islam has the 5 pillars that
Yes,
promote
5 pillars.
values of charity and prayer, fostering community and their spiritual
Yeah.
growth. Judaism has the 613 mitzvot,
Okay.
which include commandments that guide moral behavior and
Yeah.
responsibility. Taoism, non-action, they promote harmony and balance. They're every faith
They have their
has
own like little facets of it.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
and you foster that within you, so that you then
Can, spread that to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So what are some ways we can incorporate these? Like,
yeah.
I don't know, I almost feel like you could take one a week
You could
or
take-
so
yeah,
and really
yeah.
focus
I mean,
on it. But like, do you have, and you don't have to list one for every
No, I
single
think I'm going to
spirit,
put a
but-
meditation out.
Okay, yeah.
Because, I did one yesterday. It was
Yeah.
and it was like, that's
That could work.
Kind of
Okay,
based on
yeah.
the fruits of seeing which. Yeah. Anyway, it's like you have this well that you're, or I see it as something within me because I'm a visual, that I'm wanting to nurture and cultivate.
Okay.
And so some of that is this week I'm going to focus on being gentle with myself. Okay. I'm going to be aware of the words I use
Yeah.
when I talk about myself or when I'm doing things. I'm just going to be aware of the words. I'm going to see how I take care of myself. I'm going to see,
Yeah.
gee, you could have done more. Oh no, you did what you did. That's really
Yeah.
good. What, and part of this is, again, during a quiet time, is finding a scripture. Read the scripture over and over and over and see which word. I mean, that's
Pops out,
one of
yeah,
the things is if you read this every day, sit with it 5 minutes quietly and see which of those words speak to you. And then you go, wonder why that one's speaking to me today. Oh, I don't know, but I'm gonna carry this word peace with me today.
Yeah.
There's enough unrest. I'm carrying peace with me. And maybe when I'm standing in line or maybe when I'm driving and I'm getting frustrated, I can come back to this word and go, peace. You know what?
Kind of use
What
it
am
as
I
a little bit of a
offering
mantra.
myself?
Yeah.
I'm frustrated. I'm having to sit at a red light. That's okay. We're going to come to a calm. I don't know. I mean, there's just different ways, I think, that carrying a word with us.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, these fruit, I'm like mulling on even because what you said earlier, because it's like, for me, the fruits of the Spirit was how you treat others. And it was never really turned back inward.
Yeah, but if you don't treat yourself, how do you treat others?
Yeah.
Genuinely.
And then you think maybe at the time, like it was written, spoken, whatever. I mean, everybody was agricultural at that time. So maybe for them, it was intuitive to think fruits of the spirit. Well, you have to cultivate fruits in this way. So maybe for them, I don't know. I'm like trying to think
good, though.
about how maybe that was how it was intentioned
right.
initially.
And,
you know?
And I think we can look at some of these and see how somebody that we know that was so authentic and they just exuded some of these.
Yeah.
You know, I think of people, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's a good point too. It's like you will probably naturally be stronger
Yeah.
at certain ones than others. Because, you know, people just have tendencies and stuff.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you can't cultivate
No, you still
others.
cultivate it.
You know?
That's what even the more reason to.
Yes. And I think
to do that.
I think it's good that we started with this because it will the more I think it so ties into suffering and we'll absolutely talk about how we create our own suffering.
Right.
And these can combat all the ways that we create suffering for ourselves,
yes.
I think. Truly.
I think so. I think it really does. It helps to combat that.
Yeah. Have you ever ever done a study on these or like done something where you were really intentional about them, or have they just
years
kind
and
of
years
always
ago
been?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
But they're just kind of naturally part of your practice, kind of.
Well, I don't even not intention, but I look at this and I think this is all things that over the years
you've worked
in
on
one point or another, and I think about the suffering part of it, and I'll be honest, last night I did not sleep well. I let something get into my head. And I'd finally got to sleep, and then I'd woken up for some reason and my head was spinning
again.
And it was like, okay, you know all the practices, Kelly. Which one are you going to choose?
Nice.
And I try, and then next thing I know, my mind's going again. Kelly, come back, please. You know, and it wasn't like beating myself up. It wasn't. It was like it's almost a humorous thing of, there you go. Which one is going to work today?
Yeah.
You know, do you need a mantra? Do you need a word? Do you need but it's about the gentleness. And I was creating my own suffering during the night.
Yeah.
You know, and then Paul created it because I finally got to sleep. And he had a flat tire, and he didn't ride to the airport at 4:30 in the morning.
Yes.
Because the nearest Uber was 20 minutes away.
Man, getting married.
It was like
suffering.
So it was like I created my own suffering, then Paul helped me. But it's just that awareness of what I was doing, and
I think I like, because like you can use these and come up with practices with them. And then use them in your tool, have them in your toolbox.
Yes.
Yeah.
And and use what fits you. If you go walking and
and
focus on one of those words, and
definitely.
think about how you experience joy and what that feels like.
That is so fun. Because I think about you and I'm like, how can you have a bad night's sleep? You know all the ways to calm yourself
That's
down.
just it. And I don't have very many.
No, you really don't. You sleep well.
I was on a tear, and it was coming from an ugly place. So that's part of it is when you think those thoughts. It's like, I'm going to get you, but that's not.
Yeah, that's not helpful for anybody.
No, I was creating my own suffering, and
But then
I don't have to beat myself up over it. I'm aware of it and go, truly gnawing at you. You'll need to figure out what to do with that tomorrow.
Yeah, I like that.
And
I think, I love that. It's just like you give yourself a time. You're like, I will address what I'm dealing with at an appropriate time.
Yes, but right now it would be really nice to sleep.
Yes.
Because I like my sleep.
So good.
So,
Well, this is a good conversation on the spirits. I really liked it. Yeah. Now I'm going to.
The fruits.
You can do it one more time.
Because I'm laughing.
You're laughing too hard.
The fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control. For such there is no law.
Which is kind of interesting.
I know. I thought that too. I thought I was going to leave it off, but I thought somebody might know this song and call me out. There's not a law, but I was thinking. I've seen a lot recently. Just because it's a law doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
So there's not a law. This isn't a law.
Yeah.
There's no law that can incorporate my
All of
love,
that, yeah.
my joy, my peace,
Yeah.
how I define
Yeah.
compassion and who
Yeah.
I am compassionate toward. There's not a law. It's not about a law. It's about nurturing and
Yeah. And
cultivating
being natural.
and So there.
I know. I'm glad we addressed that because I was like, what is that last part?
I know. That's funny.
Oh my gosh, so good. So yes, next week we will be diving in to our suffering discussion for sure.
Yeah.
But it'll be good. It'll show suffering
And happiness
live together.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes.
It
So
just-
it'll be good.
It is.
Give you all some good insights. But yeah, if you have any experiences with your fruits of the spirit, please let us know. If there's one that pops out at you, we can always talk about it. Instagram, we're on Facebook, we've got our website, email, an incomplete guide. You can find us anywhere.
Yes.
Yep.
So we look forward to next week when we take a breath and take a listen.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of An Incomplete Guide to Personal Growth. There are many ways you can stay connected. Follow us on Instagram at An Incomplete Guide Podcast, where you can sign up for our email list and get posts that delve deeper into our weekly topics. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast page wherever you listen to your podcasts. We would really appreciate a rating and sharing us with your family and friends.
We're so glad you chose to spend your time with us and hope there was a thought, a resource, or a laugh that you can take on your journey. We'll be here every Tuesday for you to take a breath and take a listen.